think the World War II generation came out of that experience of Great Power War with a very sober mind. They realized that the number one objective of the United States government should be to make sure we never fight World War III. At the time, the threat, of course, was the Soviet Union. And there was a very real fear that we could end up fighting World War III with the Soviet Union. Now, today, the threat is the People's Republic of China. And it's a very real threat. And in some ways, it's probably going to be much more challenging to avoid war with China than it was to avoid war with the Soviet Union.
And you think that's because the U.S. has allowed itself to lose its deterrence capability?
Well, I think there's several factors at work. So one of the factors is there's just a complacency. Because we won the Cold War against the Soviet Union so easily at almost no cost at all to ourselves. I mean, there's no big battle. The Soviet Union just fell apart in 1991, and Russia just fell into our lap, and Eastern Europe just fell into our lap, and they started to become democracies, and they started to become some of our best friends in the world. I mean, you look at countries like Poland or the Czech Republic, which used to be communist countries under the Soviet Empire. Today, these are shining success stories. Well, we earned that great victory at very little cost to ourselves. It came so easily. It convinced a lot of people, a lot of very, very important and influential people, that it was their destiny. It was destined that somehow this was a gift from God, that our way of life was so superior to authoritarianism, to communism, to socialism, that it was inevitable that the Soviet Union was going to collapse. Well, I can tell you, I don't think it was inevitable. If you look at the history of the Cold War, it was not inevitable at all. It could have gone in limitless other ways. We're very lucky it went in the way that it did. And one of the reasons it did go the way that it did was because for 40 years, we had people in positions of power in Washington who had been affected by World War II. And some of them were old enough, they had been affected by World War I as well. And they were scarred by it. And they were haunted by it. They were so afraid of another war like that. And so that fear made them vigilant. And it made them very proactive and very willing to spend political capital on things that they knew would be difficult for the American public to accept, but that would be important in order to maintain strategic stability, in order to maintain American overmatch, whether at the conventional level of war, which eventually we could no longer do, and then at the nuclear level of war, which, again, we were starting to fail at in the late 1970s, and then President Reagan turned that around in the 1980s. They were able to make these sacrifices. I don't think there are many people today in Washington or anywhere in our country who really believe a great power war is possible again, who really think in their heart of hearts that we could possibly fight World War III with China, that China is actually going to invade Taiwan, that that's even possible because countries don't act that way anymore, they think, and that we might end up fighting this future war. I think there's this complacency there, and it's this combination of hubris that's built up, I think, very naturally from our really easy victory in the first Cold War against the Soviet Union, that combined with just this complacency and this mirror imaging, this sense that everything's inevitable, that America's inevitably going to win. And that's caused people to make some very bad decisions in the past. I mean, our entire relationship with the People's Republic of China was based on these myths that everything was inevitable. And it was inevitably going to go our way. As long as we engaged China, that we could transform them. Well, now what we've seen after this 41 year of relationship with the PRC is that no, we haven't changed them for the better. We've actually changed them for the worse. We've made them much more powerful. We've made them capable of committing Nazi-like ethnic cleansing in Xinjiang and elsewhere in China, that our technology companies have provided them with the systems that they need, the command and control systems, the communication systems, the video camera systems, and then the artificial intelligence capabilities that they need to conduct, their campaign, the concentration camps, and their really Orwellian mass surveillance campaign all across China, and now that's spreading.